Hi, I'm Brant Campbell. Word from the critics who saw Killers of the Flower Moon at Cannes this summer reported that it is more than just a film, but a masterpiece that transcends genres, a story that explores love, mystery, and the dark underbelly of society. The latest epic from Martin Scorsese featuring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, is based on the non-fiction book of the same name written by David Grann and published in 2017. It exploded on this scene and opened the eyes of many, myself included. Praised for its meticulous research, compelling storytelling, and the way it shed light on a little-known chapter of American history, the book achieved bestseller status shortly after its release, appearing on several bestseller lists, including the New York Times. The book explores a series of murders of Osage Native Americans in the 1920s, just a few miles north of where I grew up in Tulsa. In the early 1900s, Oklahoma was ground zero for the oil boom. Black gold surged from the earth, turning dusty towns into thriving cities. But beneath the prosperity, racial tensions simmered. The Osage tribe were among the wealthiest people per capita in the world due to massive oil deposits on their land. Growing up, a voracious reader of Oklahoma history, I'd heard about that. I'd not known, however, about the murders, and that Osage wealth made them targets, or that their murders were among the first cases investigated by the newly formed FBI, led by the notorious J. Edgar Hoover. The book delves into the conspiracy and corruption that surrounded the investigation and highlights the exploitation of the Osage people for their wealth. It also sheds light on the early days of the FBI and efforts to solve the crimes. Now, fast forward to today, critics are raving about the film. Rolling Stone calls it Martin Scorsese's great American tragedy, praising its depth, complexity, and its indictment of white supremacy. BFI acknowledges a challenging start, but hails it as an increasingly enthralling true crime epic. Scorsese weaves a multi-genre narrative, crime saga, western, and romance around a shocking period of American history. The Osage wealth, the reign of terror, and the pursuit of power and wealth come to life, challenging societal norms. And the sprawling cast, Lily Gladstone stands out as Molly, delivering a remarkable performance that anchors the film. Her character's emotional journey, intelligence, and moral core add layers to an epic narrative. The film marks the first ever collaboration of legends, Scorsese, DiCaprio, and De Niro, to name a few, in a movie that's poised to be an enduring masterpiece along his many classics, including Goodfellas, Casino, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and The Wolf of Wall Street. Behind the scenes, Scorsese's commitment to the Osage Nation's story is evident. He spent hours with Chief Standing Bear to ensure the film's authenticity. The main characters in Killers of the Flower Moon include William Hale, played by Robert De Niro, a prominent figure in the Osage community who played a duplicitous and sinister role in a story. Hale manipulated his nephew, Ernest Burkhart, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, into marrying an Osage woman named Molly Kyle, played by Lily Gladstone. Driven by greed, Hale's intent behind the marriage was to gain access to the Osage family's wealth, namely their oil rights. Tom White, played by Jesse Plemons, was a former Texas Ranger and the lead investigator for the FBI who worked on the Osage murder cases. Anna Brown, played by Cara Jade Myers, was Molly's sister and one of the Osage murder victims. Her death played a pivotal role in sparking the investigation. Other cast members include John Lithgow, Brendan Fraser, famed musicians Jason Isbell and Jack White, and a number of Native American actors. Growing up in Tulsa, not far from where all of this happened in Osage County, I can tell you that the vast majority of us had no idea. I mean, those of us who are interested in Oklahoma history largely learned, in retrospect, a whitewashed version of events that brushed over the ugliest parts. Yeah, much of Oklahoma history was swept under the rug. However horrible a story Killers of the Flower Moon is, what happened 3 miles from my childhood home in downtown Tulsa's Greenwood neighborhood, famously known as Black Wall Street back in 1921, very well may be worse. I'll be talking about that too. Humans have long done terrible things to each other, and with the lure of black gold in this case, some of the worst things came out in people. That's America for you. No, that's humanity. History is filled with these stories, and much, much worse. That said, in my travels and life experiences, I've never known a place more what I fondly call American than Oklahoma. Life has taught me that Okies are some of the kindest, hardest working, and thoughtful people you'll ever meet. Killers of the Flower Moon hits theaters October 20th. Don't miss what's sounding like a cinematic masterpiece. that challenges conventions and explores a dark but incredibly compelling chapter in American history. You better believe I'll be there. At the oldest theater in Tulsa, the Circle Cinema, right on historic Route 66. I do encourage you to experience Scorsese's vision on the big screen as intended, as I understand that it's visually spectacular. Streaming it just won't be the same. Thanks for watching. See you next time.